This is the Panasonic GF3. Now it's a micro 4/3 camera, so what that means is that it's a more compact camera system than a digital SLR, but you're still able to change the lenses like so. Now it's Panasonic's 9th micro 4/3 camera. It all began with the Panasonic G1 back in 2008. The Panasonic G1 was the first micro 4/3 camera from any manufacturer, but since then we've also seen models from Olympus. In 2009, Panasonic launched the GH1, which was a higher specification micro 4/3 camera and could capture full HD video. Later in 2009 came the GF1, which at the time was the smallest micro 4/3 camera with a built-in flash. In 2010, we saw the G2 and the G10 launch. The Panasonic G2 was the first micro 4/3 to feature a touchscreen control, and the G10 was light and it was more of an entry-level model. In September 2010, we saw the Panasonic GH2 replace the previous GH1. Then, in November of last year, we saw the Panasonic GF2 launch, which was followed in May of this year by the Panasonic G3, which brings us up to date with this model, the GF3. Now the GF3 follows on from the GF2, but it's more of an entry-level model. Panasonic says that when this camera launches this summer, with the 14 to 42mm kit lens, it's going to come in at under £500. Now we've lost a couple of features that were on the GF2. We've only got a mono microphone for recording full HD video, that's 1080i resolution, and we've also lost the hot shoe mount. But what we've got in place of that is this pop-up flash, which stands nice and proud, and for such a compact camera, that's quite important when you've got such a big lens on the front of it, so it shoots over the top of the lens. The GF3 has a new 12.1 megapixel sensor. It's got a 3-inch fixed LCD on the rear here, and it's also got a new Venus engine. Now, according to Panasonic, this engine gives it a very fast autofocus, as quick as 0.1 seconds. Also new to the GF3 is a redeveloped menu system. So, for example, you've got this jog wheel on the back here, and you can access features like that. There's also quite a nice interface when you're using the Intelligent Auto. Now the Intelligent Auto mode is when you let the camera do the thinking, so it selects the settings that it thinks are best for whatever you're shooting. But the Intelligent Auto Plus allows you to override some of those settings with things like white balance and aperture. Now, as we can see here, there's a nice sliding bar here, so you can change the warmth of the picture. You're also able to defocus the background by accessing this setting here. And lastly, you can also change some of the other exposure settings. So the camera is intelligently selecting the scene mode that it thinks is best, but you can override some of those settings. Now, new to the GF3 is Panasonic's pinpoint focus, so you can get a real precise focus. They've also allowed you to increase the size of the focus point, as you can see in this demonstration here. By turning the scroll dial, it gets larger or smaller before you take your shot. Now, Panasonic aren't yet discontinuing the GF2. The GF3 is going to sell alongside it, but you can see some of the key differences include the lack of the stereo microphone and hot shoe, as I mentioned, but the rear has been significantly tidied up, and some of the buttons and dials have been removed for easier use. The body shape as well has been completely redesigned, more designed around the barrel it would seem, and it's that much smaller and lighter. Now the Panasonic GF3 is going to launch in the UK on the 11th of July. There's going to be a 14mm pancake lens option, a 14 to 42mm zoom lens option, or you can buy it body only or with both lenses. Now it's going to sell under £500 for the 14 to 42mm option, and it's going to be available in red, black and white. Now there are 17 Micro Four Third lenses currently available, 11 of which are from Panasonic, and that includes the 3D lens adapter. So for more details on the GF3 and on the lenses that are available for the Micro Four Thirds cameras, go to our website at which.co.uk/GF3.